Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and I am a wedding photographer in Toronto, Ontario. I've been photographing weddings for over 10 years and I'm here to help you along your wedding photography journey. Today's video is going to be a little bit different and a little bit cringy. You see, I'm going to be diving back into the archives of my wedding photography, and I will be showing you a wedding that I photographed many years ago when I was first starting out as a wedding photographer. Yes, when I was first starting out, I was very enthusiastic, yet I made a lot of mistakes. But hey, we all start somewhere, right? So I'm just going to put myself out there because I believe in learning from your mistakes. So get ready to embark on a journey with me of some cringeworthy moments and lots of room for improvement. So I'm going to walk you through a wedding that I photographed in 2017. At this time, I'd photographed, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 weddings as a lead, but during this time period, I was photographing tons of weddings as a second photographer, and that was definitely helpful because getting all that practice is so important. Also, during this time period, I wasn't using my current process of culling and organizing my photos. I was doing something different, and I don't think the system was quite as good. If you want to see how I cull and organize my photos using Photo Mechanic, I have another video that I published like a few months ago that you could check out. I also outsource my editing to a company called Photographers Edit, and they do a really good job. I'm not sure what I was doing in this case. So there was a videographer at this wedding, and sometimes the videographer can get in the way. But here I'm going to walk through some of these photos and just tell you what I think I did right and some things I could have done better. So let's look at this. Okay, I think the videographer rigged up the dress like this, which was a good idea because it was like nice lighting there, but it looks weird with the dress suspended like that. It's kind of like eerie. So I think if I had cropped it differently so you can't see the string and that it's floating, it would be better. All right, this one is better because it doesn't look like it's floating, and the light in that area was really nice. And then I did some detail shots. This was by a window, which is good. I always like having nice soft window light, so I'm happy with that. Let me see this. I don't like that black corner there. I think it's really distracting. So I wish I didn't have that little black corner. Okay, this one, I think I liked this one. It has a red tag, and that doesn't have the black corner. So with detail shots, I like to have like a consistent backdrop like this. Just it's less distracting than having like a little corner like that. And then I did the shoes there. That looks good. I guess I brought this little backdrop to take photos of the details. That looks okay. And then it looks like I was struggling with the bouquet. I don't like this. You can see like it's just too messy looking with all these different textures on the sides. And I do prefer having the bouquet side lit. So, you know, that wasn't a great option, but it looks like I moved to this area here, which I like better. It is side lit from this angle. You can see the left side of the bouquet is brighter than the right, and I find that side lighting just makes details look a little more high end and provides some like texture and dimension to the objects. And so I used 48mm here. That was probably my 24-70 f2.8 lens. And I just wish I'd zoomed out a little bit more, so like 50 or so. Look at these ring shots. Obviously, I don't think I had much practice taking photos of rings because they're a little trickier to take photos of. I was probably using my extension tubes to get that close up, which was a good idea, but this was obviously a fail because the rings are not in focus. And I don't like this glare off the top of the diamond. So in order to avoid that, I either shift my position or I move the ring so the light isn't directly bouncing off the front of the diamond and creating that glare. So I should have tried moving my angle a little bit, and that probably could have eliminated that and focused a little bit better. Using that aperture at 4.5, you know, that usually does work for me. So that wasn't a problem. But right now the focus is landing on the petals and not on the rings. So I don't think I even delivered that image because it's just not that good. And then I took photos of the bride by this window, and I
lighting here is really gorgeous. And the bride is just so gorgeous too. So I'm really happy with how these turned out. However, I'm not a fan of these slides that she's wearing. So I should have asked her to take those off. When I came in closer, you know, that came out really nice. You can't see the shoes there. Oh, still those shoes. Like, I always keep an eye out for that kind of thing now. And if I see something that looks off with the outfit or something isn't done up correctly, I'll let the person know because they have so many things to think about. This is pretty. It would have looked nice if I didn't have this right behind her, if it had just been all consistently white. So I could have asked her to move a little bit. That would have been good. See, okay, I like how here I did some wide shots, and then I came in and did some closer shots, and then vertical and horizontal is always good. I remember these photos, putting the little flower crown on the flower girl. So sweet. I love that one. So cute. And then I used the window as a backdrop for a lot of the photos because if I shot into the room, it was quite cluttered. I remember, so I think this was a good choice, shooting into the window, and exposed to the window is bright, but you can still see the drapes pretty much. And I must have, yes, it says I did fire my flash. So I balanced my flash. I think that turned out well. The only thing is those aren't edited, so you know, it would look a lot better if they were properly edited. Then I did the bride on the bed, and these came out nice with some nice side light. And then I asked the bridesmaids to get on the bed. Like, this is a popular Pinterest type photo that a lot of people want. I can see there's some clutter here on the right. I should have cleared that away. Also, I did bounce my flash, and it's reflecting off these pictures in the background, which isn't great. I think the lighting from this angle on their faces it was too much like side lit. So these people would have been bright and these people wouldn't have been. So I think I chose to fire my flash, but I could have asked everyone to angle themselves more so they're all facing the window a little bit more, like, and then I could have shot more in this direction, get them to make a line this way more. Shoot in this direction. I could have just used natural light to light their faces. It would have been a little bit better. Okay, so I did the, let's see, invitation propped up like that. That looks okay. I could have tried some different framing here and included like the whole reflection as an option. And then I got her to look out the window here. That is really good, pretty lighting on her. And then I continued to use this window, which was, I think that was a good choice. Like, always for the getting ready photos, I always look for the best light and try to take the photos there. I remember, I think this one I really liked. Really nice lighting, and I like the reflection in the armoire. All right, here I overexposed the background. I would have liked to have had a little more detail in the background here, so I could have increased the shutter speed. Oh, I'm using my flash here. I could have decreased the ISO, increased the f-stop a little bit, increased the shutter speed a little bit, just let a little less light into the camera, and then fired my flash, which I bounced because there was a white ceiling, so it was a good spot for bouncing. And then I like these. I started shooting in a different direction into the room, so we have the light on this left side of her face. So, you know, when you have window light, there's all different directions you can shoot, and you can shoot into the light, you can shoot the same direction as the light, and it'll give you different looks. I liked this one, but my editing is weird here. She looks a little too orangey for my taste, but that can all be fixed. So then we move on to the wedding ceremony, which was in a church, and look at this. These are totally so dark. I could have used I don't like using my flash during a ceremony, but I could have used it just for this part of him walking down the aisle. I'll use it during the processional and recessional if I need to. So when they're walking down the aisle towards the altar, and then at the end when they're walking back. All right, good. I got his expression as the bride is walking down the aisle. That looks good. And then I always do like to get a wide shot showing the whole ceremony at some point. The speakers. I'm not using my flash here, which, like I said, I like to not use my flash and just shoot wide open if it's dark and let as much light into my camera And then when they came back down the aisle here, I did use my flash, which I'm happy about. You can see the video, guys, right there, but obviously I just cropped this and it's not edited, but I think that turned out well. Having the flash going at that point was good, and I did direct flash there, I can tell, because the ceiling was so high it was going to be really hard to bounce it. And then it looks like I did some bridal party here. I used an off-camera flash. Let me look at the settings. I think 7.1. My off-camera flash, I think it was working well. I don't prefer having indoor family photos. Like, this isn't my favorite backdrop. I think it would have been nice if we could have done it outside. And it's also easier because you already have great light outside. You just have to find a nice shady spot. But maybe this couple requested it at the altar. I can't remember. It was so long ago. If they did request it, of course, I'm going to do that. And then we went to this park, and it was really hard. I remember this because the sun was really high. It was like midday, really bright sunny day, and there was hardly any shady spots. And I had scouted this out beforehand. So I remember I thought, okay, let's make a nice picture of the bridal party and have them all kind of separated. I like sometimes separating the bridal party and then having them in a line. We got some people walking around here, but you can see the bride and groom, I asked them to come out a little bit closer towards me, and now they're brighter than the rest of the people, which isn't great. So I should have asked them to move back again, so it could have been more evenly lit. And then this girl is even darker. So it's kind of a tricky situation. I should have asked the bride and groom to take a step back. But then, okay, also with these photos, I don't love these hot spots in the foreground. And then there's a lady right there. Okay, not ideal. So I did a photo of them in a line. And as you can see, it's like more evenly lit, which is better. Also, I cropped out most of those hot spots in the foreground, so that's less distracting. I like that better. And then they requested photos in front of this big rock. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't really love that background, but they wanted it, so okay. This was like a major feature in the center of the park. So of course I'm gonna do that. Okay, now we come to an area of the photos that was kind of tricky for me. I remember this. I remember thinking this arbor is so pretty, it'll kind of frame the bridesmaids, but we got some weird light happening on them. I think what was happening was there was strong sunlight bouncing off the grass behind me and onto the bridesmaid, and it was creating some weird color casts. When I look at these pictures, I think, okay, I think they're cute, but the color was a little off because of the surroundings and the light bouncing on that bright grass. But when I was looking at this, and okay, the bridesmaids, if I had asked the bridesmaids to face the opposite direction and place them in that shade underneath this arbor, it would have been a better decision. And then I would have been on the other side of them shooting this way, so they would be facing the other way, standing right on the edge of this shadow, so that this bright sunlight, it would have hit the pavement, which was a neutral colored reflector, and then bounced up onto them, and then there wouldn't have been a color cast on them. It would have looked better. I remember struggling with that at the time and thinking, which way should they face? But now I know a little bit more, and I would have had them face the other way. Okay, so this was, okay, a good idea, having these veil shots. You know, I love these kind of veil shots, but it was poorly executed here. We've got this weird light coming across her shoulder. So this is not a good location, or I should have turned her so that she was backlit. And then I used f4. I prefer to use like my 50mm wider open, like f2.5 or f2. And I would prefer to have this veil down further so it's blocking that background, because that's just distracting. So there's, you know, a lot of things that I did wrong there. So we moved on to this location, which I think was the best location that I found, because it was shady. We had like good light on the couple or on the bride, soft, even lighting. I could have done more photos here. I did quite a bit. As you can see here, it just keeps going. Did the bride and groom photos, which I think came out nice. There was an issue here. There was some cars parked right there. So you can see I kept favoring vertical because that automatically cropped out all the cars. But if I had used like my 85 millimeter, that would have helped because it would have helped blur out the background a little bit more. So I wish I had used my 85 here a little bit more. I still think these came out really nice though. I think this would have been really nice because I thought I could have some foreground interest and blurred it out a bit, but it would have been better. Well, the graffiti there is terrible. I don't think I noticed that at the time. You could fix that now in Photoshop a lot easier, but back then that wasn't really possible. If I had them step back a little bit more and I could have used my 85 and that would have blurred out the foreground, focused in on them, and then blurred out the background a little bit more, it would have been nicer. So I should use the 85 there. Let's see. Okay, and then I've got them sitting, and I got all different angles, so that looks good. Oh, it looks like I tried the veil shot here. It was more successful. So the veil, it's better even if I didn't have that sliver background. 45 millimeter, okay. This one here. Oh, okay, that's a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. And then I'm going to wrap this up with the veil shots. Let's see. Oh, that came off. These veils that are really long like this, when you do the veil toss, it's like a lot of pressure on the bride's head. Okay, I think this was the best one. Okay, that's not bad, but I don't love this location. I don't think the lighting here is the best. I think there might have been something behind me that was blocking the light on them a bit. Also, the chain link fence isn't that pretty. If I'd used my 85 here, that would have helped. 85 millimeter here, it would have helped blur out the background. I think that would have looked a lot better. So I could have used my 85 a little bit more. There were a few minor tweaks that could have been improved. I think overall I did a pretty good job considering I'd done a ton of weddings on my own. You know, I had scouted the location beforehand, which is really helpful. And I kind of made a plan in my head of what I wanted to do. So it didn't come out perfectly, but I'm pretty happy with it. And hopefully this was valuable to you. Maybe one of the things I mentioned may be helpful to you.
So there you have it. Thank you for joining me on this journey, looking at one of the very first weddings that I photographed. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out a video that I posted a couple of weeks ago that was quite similar. In that video, I also showed an example of a wedding I photographed as a lead shooter many years ago, and I pointed out some mistakes and areas that I could have improved. So please click on that subscribe button below and let me know in the comments if you like this or if there's anything else you'd like to see in the future. Until next time, and thank you for watching. Bye.